Hello and welcome. So, you're dreaming of a career in medicine, which means you're in exactly the right place. I know the journey ahead can seem a little daunting, but trust me, it's incredibly rewarding. Today, we're going to arm you with one of the most powerful tools you'll have for this journey, a crystal clear official guide to the NEET 2026 syllabus. So, let's just dive right in. Getting ready for a test, like NEET, it really is like setting out on a massive expedition. And what's the first thing you need for an expedition? A map. A really reliable map that shows you the terrain, points out the challenges, and makes sure you don't get lost. Well, that map is the official syllabus, and that's exactly what we're going to chart out together right now. First up, let's be super clear on what we're talking about. NEET isn't just another exam, it's the single gateway for undergraduate medical school in India. Seriously, whether you're aiming for an MBBS, or maybe courses in the Indian system of medicine like BAMS or BUMS, or even homeopathy with a BHMS, this is the one exam you absolutely have to conquer. To make this all really simple, we've broken it down into 4 key parts. We'll start with who actually makes the rules, then we'll look at the big picture structure of the syllabus itself. After that, we'll take a quick peek at some of the actual topics inside, and finally, we'll wrap up with a clear, strategic takeaway to get you moving. Okay, first things first. In an age of information overload, with a million different coaching materials out there, knowing your official sources is basically a superpower. These are the 2 organizations that are your ultimate final word sources of truth for everything NEET. That's right. There are really only 2 organizations you need to pay attention to, and understanding their specific jobs will help you cut through all the noise and get straight to the facts. So let's meet them. This is probably the most important thing to get straight. They have 2 totally different jobs. Think of it like this. The National Medical Commission, the NMC, they're the architects. They design the blueprint, they decide what you need to study by creating and publishing the syllabus. Then you have the National Testing Agency, or NTA. They're the ones who conduct the test. They take that syllabus and actually run the exam, making sure it's fair and transparent for everyone. And this really drives the point home. Whenever you have a question about a topic, a chapter, or what's included, where do you go? Straight to the NMC website. Forget about rumors you hear, forget about random PDFs you find online. The official document released by the NMC is your one and only guide. All right, so now we know who makes the map. The next logical step is learning how to read its legend, right? Understanding the high-level structure of the syllabus is your first step to planning your studies in a way that actually works. And you know what? The structure is actually pretty straightforward. It's built on the 3 pillars of modern medical science: physics, chemistry, and biology. And each of these subjects is then broken down into a specific number of units. Now, this chart is really interesting because of what it tells us about the exam's focus. Look at physics and chemistry. Both have 20 units. That equal weight shows just how critical they are as the foundational sciences. But then you see biology with just 10 units. Now, don't let that smaller number fool you for a second. These units are incredibly dense and comprehensive, and they form the absolute core of what you'll need to know as a future doctor. Okay, we've seen the map's legend. Now it's time to actually start surveying the terrain. We're going to take a quick look at a few sample units from each subject, just to give you a real feel for the kind of topics you're going to be tackling. So let's kick things off with physics. I know, for a lot of future doctors, this can feel like the most intimidating subject. But really, it's all about understanding the fundamental laws that govern, well, everything. And as you can see, the syllabus starts with the absolute basics. These first 4 units, measurement, kinematics, laws of motion, and work energy and power, these are your building blocks. Mastering these concepts is non-negotiable because literally everything else in physics is built on top of this foundation. Okay, next up, chemistry. You can think of it as the bridge between the physical laws we just saw and the complex biological systems we're about to dive into. And again, you see that very logical structure, right? It starts with foundational ideas like the mole concept, then it dives deep into the nature of atoms and the bonds that hold everything together. And a unit like periodicity is a perfect example of how the syllabus helps you organize a ton of information into a predictable, rules-based system. And now for the heart of the NEET syllabus, biology. Like we mentioned before, these 10 units are absolutely packed with detail, and they cover the entire spectrum of life sciences. Just looking at these samples, you can see why biology is so crucial. From understanding the vast diversity of life, to the fundamental unit of life itself with cell biology, to the incredible details of human physiology and the blueprint of life and genetics, this is the core knowledge that every single future doctor has to have down cold. So, we've defined the exam, we've met the organizers, and we've surveyed the syllabus. What's next? Well, this is where all this information turns into action. This is your call to adventure, and now you're armed with the right map to get started. So here is your mission. Your first 3 steps, and I mean do them today. 1. Go directly to the source, the NMC website, and download the latest official syllabus. 2. Sit down with your textbooks and notes and literally match them unit by unit to that official document. See if there are any gaps. And 3, make that syllabus the backbone of your entire study plan. Let it be the boss that tells you what to study and in what order. And we'll leave you with this thought. The syllabus itself, the map, it isn't going to do the work for you. That's the territory, and you're the one who has to explore it through hard work and dedication. But you can't navigate that territory without the map, so use it wisely and you will be well on your way. Good luck.